She was wearing a pair of dark sunglasses, the kind that you see pilots wearing on bad TV. They covered half her face, drawing attention towards her eye. I could see the start of a bruise behind them, as if the massive dark shields could not hide the damage. When she drew them down and set them on her lap absent-mindedly as she explained her case, I missed much of what she had said. My eyes were drawn towards that black eye. It was massive, swollen, and had a small ring inside it, a perfect circle inside a nearly perfect circle of a bruise. What could cause that? What could make a bruise almost perfectly round with a perfect circle of a bruise inside it? I stared at it openly as my mind searched for an answer.
"Are you listening?"
she asked. The question broke me out of my contemplation. "Oh, sorry, I missed the first part. Do you mind if I ask you how you got the black eye?" Her face almost drew up in anger, but the corner of her mouth there was a slight smile for half a moment. I know I had seen that smile.
"I just explained all that,"
she said in a huff.
"My husband was drinking last night. He got angrier than usual and started swinging."
That didn't explain the type of bruise, however. "Do you mind if I ask what he hit you with? Was it a broom handle or—"
"No,"
she said, looking down.
"it was his fists. It's always his fists. Plus," she said as she started digging through her purse, "I found these."
She laid out on my desk life insurance forms, about 5 of them. One for $50,000, another for $500,000, one for nearly $4 million. They added up to a cool $6 million easy when you put them all together. They were all paid up to the max, and as I examined them, they all seemed to pay out regardless of suicide. That was a unique clause to have in such a case. Most companies won't pay out for a suicide, and they all seemed to be dated for the week prior. "Your husband is a pretty busy man," I said, looking through them. They all had her name on them, but we'll keep calling her Sheri for the time being. Client confidentiality and all that. "Who is your husband?" I asked as I continued to look through them. I was fairly surprised when she mentioned the name. Mr. Crane, again, not his real name, was the CEO of Armored Arrow. They were a weapons manufacturer who had their offices here locally. They made a lot of military gadgetry and weapons. By all rights, he should be a millionaire. When I asked her, she looked down at her hands for a moment, then replied,
"Well, he should, but most of his money is tied up in stocks. They got taken to the cleaners since his big weapon system got rejected by the government. I think he blames me for the failure."
"And he wants to make a big payday," I said. She nodded. After I explained my fees and structuring to her, she smiled and offered up the check. What she wanted, she explained, was the evidence to bring him to justice. She was afraid that if she went to the cops with just this, she'd be killed while they were investigating. "All right, Sheri, I think I can help you. Let's catch us a bad guy," I said. While I shook her hand, I smiled at her. She gave me a warm smile back. She seemed to be a nice enough person, but something was off. I tried to shelve those feelings. I had a job to do, and it was time to get to work.